What if I told you that everything you've been trying to escape from, your fear, your pain, your confusion, is not your enemy, but your invitation to freedom? That the moment you stop running, you begin to heal. We spend our lives trying to fix the world, fix ourselves, and fix every thought that dares to wander outside of perfection. Yet the more we struggle to control, the more tangled we become in the web of our own expectations. The secret to ending suffering is not to fight harder, but to understand that what you're fighting is an illusion, a ghost made of resistance. Suffering begins the moment we say, "This should not be." Pain itself is part of life's design. It arises, teaches, and passes. But the resistance, the refusal to feel it, turns a moment of discomfort into a lifetime of suffering. When you stop resisting, the storm loses its power. You see, the mind loves to play a game. It whispers that you are a separate self, an isolated observer trapped inside a body, burdened by choices and consequences. Yet the truth is simpler and far more profound. You are the very process of life unfolding. You are not the wave trying to control the ocean. You are the ocean, vast, uncontainable, and already at peace beneath the surface. Letting go is not giving up, it is giving in to life's natural rhythm, to the intelligence that breathes without your permission and beats your heart without your command. When you surrender to the flow, you rediscover what you always were: awareness itself. The past is a memory, the future a concept. Only now is real. And in this now, nothing is missing. You don't need to chase happiness. It appears when you stop chasing. You don't need to destroy suffering. It dissolves when you stop identifying with it. In this understanding, opposites no longer fight each other. Light needs darkness to be seen. Joy needs sorrow to be felt. Life is not a battle to be won, but a harmony to be realized. So if you wish to end suffering, don't run from it. Awaken within it. Feel it, watch it, and let it teach you. For when awareness meets pain, transformation begins. And when you awaken to that truth, you'll find that peace was never lost, only forgotten. What if the very thing you have been trying to escape, your pain, your doubt, your confusion, is not a curse, but a hidden doorway to peace? Every moment of your life, the mind struggles to control what cannot be controlled, to predict what cannot be known, to hold on to what was never meant to stay. And in this endless struggle for certainty, we create our own suffering. The true secret to ending suffering is not found in control or avoidance, but in understanding. Suffering arises not because pain exists, but because we resist what pain tries to teach. When you feel sadness, you label it as wrong. When you lose something dear, you say it should not have happened. Yet this resistance, this refusal to experience life as it is, multiplies the pain. Pain is a wave that comes and goes, but suffering is the clinging that keeps it alive. The moment you stop fighting your experience, the wave passes, and you find yourself standing in stillness again. This stillness is not something you create. It is what remains when resistance ends. The mind, however, keeps whispering, "You must fix this. You must become better. You must control." But control is an illusion. The deeper truth is that life is a flow, not a machine. It cannot be fixed because it was never broken. You are not a separate being trapped in a body, struggling against the universe. You are the universe expressing itself as a person, momentarily forgetting its vastness. When you let go of the false sense of self, the small I, that claims ownership of every thought and emotion, you begin to see that there is no true division between you and what happens. You are not the storm, you are the sky in which the storm unfolds. The rain may fall, thunder may sound, but the sky remains untouched. To end suffering is to return to that sky like awareness, to stop identifying with the passing weather of your thoughts and emotions. This does not mean you deny your feelings. It means you witness them without resistance, understanding that even pain is part of the dance of life. Letting go is not weakness. It is the ultimate strength. It is the courage to allow life to unfold without needing to control its outcome. The moment you trust the rhythm of existence, something shifts inside you. You realize that you have been swimming upstream against your own nature. When you surrender to the flow, you stop exhausting yourself. You discover a peace that does not depend on conditions, a happiness that does not need reason. This is not the end of challenges, but the beginning of freedom. For the awakened mind, suffering becomes transformation, and every loss becomes a lesson in love. The past no longer defines you, and the future no longer frightens you, because you have found peace in the present. And this present moment, this eternal now, is the only reality there ever was. In it, nothing is missing. The world still turns, joy still meets sorrow. Light still dances with shadow, but you are no longer caught between them. You see that both are necessary for the whole to exist. Just as sound needs silence to be heard, and the wave needs the ocean to rise, every experience you have ever known has been guiding you back to this understanding. So, to end suffering is not to end life's movement, but to awaken to the truth that you were never apart from it. You are not the seeker of peace, you are peace itself, momentarily disguised as a seeker. And when you see this clearly, when you allow every feeling to come and go without resistance, suffering dissolves like mist in the morning light, revealing the timeless wisdom that was always within you. Every human being spends much of life trying to escape discomfort, to avoid pain, to control chaos, and to make everything predictable. Yet the harder we fight against what is, the more tangled we become in the very suffering we wish to escape. We are taught from childhood that peace means perfection, that happiness means eliminating pain, and that success means constant control. But this is the great misunderstanding. Life was never designed to be held still. It moves, breathes, and changes like the wind. Pain is not an error in the system. It is part of the system itself. When a person loses something dear, feels betrayal, or faces uncertainty, the mind immediately says, "This should not be happening." That single thought is the seed of suffering. Pain is natural, but suffering is self-created. It is the resistance, the tension between reality and the story we tell about it. If one can learn to observe the pain without labeling it as good or bad, to witness it as a natural occurrence in the stream of existence, something profound happens. The energy that fuels suffering dissolves. Acceptance is not surrender to hopelessness. It is the recognition that life moves according to a rhythm larger than the human will. When you stop arguing with what is, you begin to feel the quiet intelligence of the present moment. You see that life is not happening to you, it is happening through you. In that awareness, peace is not something achieved, but something revealed. The illusion of suffering is deeply tied to the illusion of self, the idea that there is a separate I who owns thoughts, emotions, and events. Yet if you observe closely, you will find that thoughts arise on their own, feelings come and go like waves, and life unfolds without needing your constant interference. You do not beat your heart, you do not grow your hair, and you do not control the sunset. These things simply happen. When this truth sinks in, a quiet smile forms inside, because the pressure to control the uncontrollable disappears. You realize that the same intelligence that makes flowers bloom and stars shine is also guiding your every breath. To live in harmony with this realization is to end suffering, not by changing what happens, but by awakening to what has always been true. Every emotion, even sorrow, becomes sacred because it shows you where you are still holding on. The act of letting go is not passive. It is the most active trust in existence. The moment you stop identifying with the noise of the mind, the silence of awareness opens, and within that silence lies unshakable peace. Life still brings challenges, storms still come, but you no longer drown in them. You watch, you feel, you allow, and in that allowing you discover freedom. The secret to ending all suffering is not to escape life, but to live it fully, without resistance, without judgment, and without fear, knowing that you were never separate from the vast, flowing whole. Every moment of suffering begins with the belief that life should be different from what it is. The mind resists what happens, trying to fix, control, or escape it, but this resistance only tightens the chains of pain. Life, by its nature, is change, an endless rhythm of birth and decay, gain and loss, joy and sorrow. When you fight this rhythm, you fight reality itself, and in doing so, you create unnecessary suffering. The truth is that pain is not your enemy, it is a messenger, a part of the human experience that teaches awareness and depth. Every emotion, even the ones that feel unbearable, carries a lesson about letting go. Yet most people spend their lives seeking pleasure and avoiding pain, not realizing that both are two sides of the same coin. You cannot have light without darkness, or peace without chaos. Suffering arises when we cling to the light and fear the dark, when we accept one half of existence and reject the other. True freedom begins when you no longer separate life into what should be and what should not be. When you look deeply enough, you see that every experience, pleasant or painful, has its place in the unfolding of your growth. The sense of I that tries to control life is an illusion created by thought. This imagined self is constantly striving to protect its identity, to secure its desires, and to avoid discomfort. But the more the self tries to control, the more it suffers. You are not this separate entity fighting against the world. You are the awareness in which the world appears. Thoughts, emotions, and experiences come and go, but the consciousness that witnesses them remains untouched. The secret to ending suffering lies in this recognition, that you are not the storm of your thoughts, but the sky that holds them. The mind can trap you in endless stories about the past and worries about the future, but suffering cannot survive in the present moment. The now is pure, simple, and alive. It holds no judgment, no resistance, no regret. When awareness returns to this moment, peace naturally arises because there is nothing left to fight. The letting go that once felt so frightening becomes liberation. It is not the loss of control, but the discovery that you never needed to control anything to be at peace. Life flows on its own, and you are part of that flow, effortless, infinite, and free. To live without suffering is not to escape pain or difficulty, but to awaken within them. Life will still bring challenges, yet they no longer define you when you see them as passing waves on the surface of a vast ocean. You are that ocean, deep, calm, and unchanged by whatever moves across it. In this understanding, even sorrow becomes sacred, because it softens the heart and deepens compassion. Acceptance does not mean passivity. It means seeing clearly that everything belongs, that even what feels broken is serving a hidden harmony. The more you trust this flow, the more peaceful your existence becomes. You begin to live not as a victim of circumstances, but as a conscious participant in the unfolding of life. The end of suffering is not a destination, but a shift in perception, a realization that peace was never lost, only covered by resistance. When you stop running from life, when you meet every moment with open awareness, the illusion of separation fades away. What remains is pure being, unburdened by the need to change, prove, or escape. And in that stillness, you discover what the mind could never grasp, the timeless freedom that was always within you, waiting to be remembered.